Hello there. This video will be in English. The Filipino version of this will be uploaded soon, so stay tuned. We wish we could say pack your bags. Bring your passport and fly. But at the moment you'd need more than that. So if you are flying to the Philippines, these are all the information that you need to understand. If you are yet to book your flight, these are all the things you need to consider. It could be overwhelming for some. But actually, if you get a paper and a pen, take down some notes, you will be perfectly fine. If you complete all the requirements specific for you, then you will have a very smooth flight. The pre-departure step is the most difficult and complicated for some passengers. Because for even tiny mistakes, any incomplete requirement, the airline will not hesitate to deny you from boarding their aircraft. So, let's begin. First, requirements of your country of exit. Comply with your government's exit requirement if any exists. Example, in Saudi Arabia you need this app. Second, requirements in the Philippines. A 48-hour RT-PCR negative test result is mandatory for all passengers, 4 years old and above. If you are a foreign national, you can only enter with a negative test result. If you are a Filipino citizen, you may still enter if you have already recovered and are still testing positive, as long as you comply with all the requirements. We are preparing a complete day-by-day guide about this. Check the comments section for the link when it becomes available. Next, the One Health Pass is still required in the Philippines. The One Health Pass EHDC is the replacement to the yellow paper form called the Health Declaration Checklist or HDC. We know you still remember this form. The One Health Pass EHDC is the electronic equivalent of that. Okay, go to the website www.onehealthpass.com.ph. Yes, this is a website and not a mobile app. You can use your computers and also your mobile phones to access it. This is for all passengers, including children or infants. Both the 48 hours RT-PCR and One Health Pass complete tutorials are available in our YouTube page. We will also put the links in the comments section. One simple way to do this right is, once you receive your RT-PCR negative test result, then you can go and register already in the One Health Pass website. Next, secure all the immigration documents required from you. For OFWs, Philippine passport. If you are a documented OFW, be prepared to show any proof if asked. According to Emirates website, you may present any of these. If you are an undocumented OFW, according to EU 226, you can show any of these as proof. For non-OFWs, your Philippine passport. For dual citizens, your foreign passport. If you want to avail of the Balikbayan privilege, you must prove your Filipino roots by presenting either your valid or expired Philippine passport or your authentic birth certificate. If you don't have those documents with you, you may present your identification certificate or your citizenship retention or reacquisition certificate. Otherwise, you will be considered a foreign national. For former Filipinos, your foreign passport. If you want to avail of the Balikbayan privilege, you must prove your Filipino roots by presenting either your valid or expired Philippine passport or your authentic birth certificate. From February 1st to February 9th, foreign nationals who are from the Philippines EO 408 list and who are traveling with their Filipino or former Filipino spouse or parent are allowed to enter without a visa. This is the list of the EO 408 countries. This is a total of 157 countries. You can check the complete list in the link above. This includes, of course, countries with big Filipino population like USA, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Australia, United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, Japan, Singapore, the whole European Union including the United Kingdom, the whole North and South America except Cuba, and many more countries. Foreign nationals, who are eligible to the Balikbayan program, are given visa on arrival for a stay of 1 year. To avail of the Balikbayan program, these documents will be asked from you, to prove your blood relation with a Filipino citizen. Birth certificate for children, or adoption papers. Marriage contract for spouse. Effective December 24, 2021, a Filipino and foreign spouse with same-sex marriage shall also be temporarily admitted. If these documents are not in English, then you must have a notarized English translation. Upon your arrival to the Philippines, tell the Bureau of Immigration that you want to avail of the Balikbayan program. Prior to February 10th, you need a valid and existing visa to enter, if you are not traveling with your Filipino spouse or parent. And if you will enter with your 9A visa, you must have a notation EED not required, per IATF Resolution Number 128 Series of 2021. It is always the safest to bring all your documents showing your legal affiliation with a Filipino citizen. Starting February 10th, EU 408 nationals may enter the Philippines by their own, without a need of a visa. You will be given a visa upon arrival, depending on your nationality. For most of the countries, this is for 30 days. For non-EU 408 nationals, there is no change. You will still have to secure a valid visa. This is the list of countries that need a visa to enter the Philippines. It includes China, Egypt, India, Jordan, Lebanon, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, and 31 more countries. Aside from your visa, you have to get an entry exemption document, or EED, from the Philippine Foreign Post in your country. This restriction could be removed in the future, so stay updated by hitting that subscribe button. Based on IATF Resolution 157 from February 16, 2022, only fully vaccinated foreign nationals may be allowed entry. There is a chance this rule can be revoked. Hopefully. If it takes effect on February 16, these passengers are exempted: children below 18 years of age, people certified as medically unable to receive the vaccine, and foreign diplomats and their qualified dependents with 9E visas. Clarification: this rule will not apply to Filipinos. Filipinos can always go home. If you are unvaccinated, just complete a 5-day hotel quarantine. For EU 408 nationals, your passport must be valid for at least 6 months at the time of your arrival. You must present a return or outbound ticket. From February 16th, you must present an IATF-approved vaccination certificate, which we will discuss later. Okay. Now during check-in, you will be asked to present all those documents. It is very important that you should have also checked the guidelines in your airline's website, especially if you have transit or connecting flights. This is a complicated topic, so we've made a separate video about this. In that video we discussed the transit documents and requirements on these cities. The cities here we colored in green are generally okay, with simple rules. Those in yellow are cities with very specific rules, and many passengers are either getting denied at boarding or worse, stranded. Another thing to check is if your airport of arrival has special requirements too. Now, One Health Pass is required at all Philippine airports. The Trace app is required at all Philippine airports, as mandated by the Department of Transportation. You can download and activate this in just 5 minutes, if you will follow our tutorial video. Now, for the unvaccinated, you will have to quarantine and take a swab test on day 5. If you are landing via Clark, and you are an unvaccinated OFW, you have to register in the Red Cross ECIF or -lab website. To those landing in Subic, all unvaccinated must register in Red Cross ECIF or -lab website. To all passengers landing in Davao, register in Safe Davao website. All these links will be provided in the description box and in the comments section. At the moment, no airport in the Philippines will require the use of face shield. Now, let's go to the IATF-approved vaccination certificate. OFWs and their spouse, children, parents, traveling with them, may present any of the following. Number 1, to those vaccinated abroad, their national digital or physical vaccination certificate of the foreign government where they were vaccinated, without the need of a reciprocity agreement. Example: the NHS for UK, Sehati for Saudi Arabia, Notarize for Singapore. For those in the European Union, any of your EU digital COVID certificate. Al Hosn for UAE, Ateras for Qatar, Immunap for Kuwait, the US CDC White Card for the USA. For Canada and Japan, any of your printed or digital vaccination certificate. For all other countries, you can bring any of your national, digital or physical vaccination certificate. Number 2, World Health Organization, International Certificate of Vaccination and Prophylaxis, or the so-called ICV, or Yellow Card. Number 3, the VaxCert PH for those vaccinated in the Philippines. Non-OFWs vaccinated in the country or abroad, and foreigners vaccinated in the Philippines, they can present any of the following. Number 1, the national or state digital certificate of the foreign government, where they were vaccinated, which has accepted Vaxx Cert PH, under a reciprocal arrangement, unless otherwise permitted by the IATF. Here are the countries with reciprocal arrangement as of February 2, 2022. It includes Armenia, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Colombia, Czech Republic, France, Georgia, Germany, India, Iraq, Italy, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kuwait, Monaco, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Oman, Samoa, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, and Vietnam. These countries acknowledge the Philippines' Vaxx Cert PH, and thereby the IATF also accepts these countries' vaccination certificates. This list may be updated at any time, so stay updated by hitting that subscribe button. Countries with reciprocal arrangement can use their digital or physical certificate in both international travel to the Philippines and also domestic travel within the Philippines. Example, if you are from California, USA, you can use your digital certificate or your USA CDC white card. Number 2, World Health Organization, International Certificate of Vaccination and Prophylaxis, yellow card. Number 3, the Vaxx Cert PH for those vaccinated in the Philippines. Who are considered fully vaccinated? There are 3 rules to follow. Number 1, your vaccination certificate must be in the list we discussed earlier. Number 2, vaccine administered must be in this list of 11 approved vaccines in the Philippines. And lastly, for you to be considered fully vaccinated, you must have the complete dose. After the last shot, you must count 14 full days. For example, your last shot is February 2nd, count 14 full days. So that is from February 2nd until February 15th. The day after that, you are considered fully vaccinated. So in this case, from February 16th onwards, you can fly to the Philippines and go directly home, without having to quarantine at the hotel. There were so many questions about this. To clarify, if you already had 2 shots of a 2-dose series, like Pfizer, let's say June 2021 or December 2021, that is more than 2 weeks. So yes, you are fully vaccinated. Booster dose is not a requirement by the Philippine government as of this time. Note that all of these 3 rules must be met to be considered fully vaccinated. For example, if your vaccination certificate is not in the list we mentioned earlier, then you will be considered unvaccinated. If you decide to get vaccinated on February 2nd, if you fly within the 14 days period as shown, you will be considered unvaccinated. If you are an unvaccinated OFW, you can still enter the Philippines, but you have to quarantine. But no worries, your quarantine hotel is still free. For non-OFWs and foreign nationals, if you are unvaccinated, you must have a confirmed hotel booking from a government-accredited hotel for 6 days or 5 nights. From February 16th, unvaccinated foreign nationals will not be allowed to enter anymore, unless revoked by a new resolution. Now if you have completed all those requirements, your flight and arrival will be smooth. Upon arrival at the airport, the Philippine authorities will give you a briefing and instructions. Then you will go to your designated lane, OFWs and non-OFWs. The BOQ or Bureau of Quarantine will verify your vaccination documents based on the rules we discussed earlier. If you don't meet all the 3 requirements, you will be considered unvaccinated. If you are a non-OFW at the hotel facility, you will have a swab test on day 5. The payment for that swab test can be made at the airport. Now clear the immigration, present all your documents. If you want to avail of the Balikbayan privilege, you have to tell the immigration officer. Now claim your luggage and clear the customs. Then time to go home for the fully vaccinated. For the unvaccinated, you will take your transport to the hotel. At the airport, consider to buy a local Philippine SIM card. And also convert some of your money to Philippine peso. Actually, days before your flight, you should have contacted your LGU or local government unit, your barangay, about their local rules. And if you have a domestic flight, go to the One Health Pass and click the S Pass icon. In here, you will see which cities and towns are restricted. If cities are restricted, you will need the S Pass and even more. Now, it's finally time to go home. For fully vaccinated OFWs, you can avail of the OWA OWIANA. You can also ask your relatives to pick you up at the airport, if your LGU says yes. When you arrive at your home, you are required to self-monitor for symptoms like fever, sore throat, and must report it to your LGU. For the unvaccinated OFWs, the OWA bus will take you to your free hotel. For non-OFWs, you can book an accredited transport service at the airport. The day you arrived at the airport, even if you arrive in the night, that is your day 1. Remember that, because on day 5 you will have your swab test. For non-OFWs, you must ensure you receive a confirmation email from the testing facility, and verify that the hotel and day of swab information are correct. For OFWs, on day 5, you must call your hotel reception, just to double-check and confirm that you will be swabbed on that day. After your swab, you can go again to the One Health Pass and track the swab test result. When you receive your result and it is negative, you must call the hotel reception and tell them that you want to go home already. Ask them to please print the quarantine certificate. Then after that, time to go home. For OFWs, you can avail of the OWA Uwi Na. You can also ask your relatives to pick you up at the hotel, if your LGU says yes. When you arrive at your home, you are required to complete your home quarantine until day 14. The day you arrived at the airport, even if you arrive in the night, that is your day 1. You will include the day of arrival at the airport and also the days you already spent at the hotel. Now, in the unfortunate event that your test result at the hotel is positive, you have to complete the isolation protocol of the Philippines. This is only for unvaccinated, because the fully vaccinated will go directly home, no swab test. Okay, again for unvaccinated, if your result turns out positive, if you don't have any symptoms, you still have to isolate for 10 days. Day 1 is the day when you were swabbed at the hotel. If you have mild or moderate symptoms, isolate for 10 days. But here the counting starts from the day you reported your symptoms. For severe cases, hopefully nobody, you will isolate for 21 days from the start of symptoms. If you are immunocompromised, example if you have an autoimmune disease, HIV, cancer, then after 21 days of isolation, they will do a repeat of your RT-PCR, and it must be negative. Thanks for watching. If you find this information helpful, please like this video. We also appreciate your comments and feedback. Consider to subscribe to get to see more updates like these. See you on the next update and have a safe flight to the Philippines.